What is good, everybody? My name is Mark. This is literally my very first video on this channel. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna start winging it and posting on here. I got my camera set up. This whole setup looks super sick right now. I literally feel like a streamer. Like, it's so cool. I have my camera set up. I got my OBS, my mic. I got it all set up, like, to start doing this for real now. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mark. I am 20 years old and I am an aspiring day trader. I say aspiring because I do not do it full time yet. That is the end goal eventually, but right now I do work a job. I moved out of my parents' house 8 months ago. I moved all the way across the country from New York all the way down here to Florida, where I now have my own place down here. But I do have a job here. I do not trade full time. I do some other entrepreneur. Trying to say is I do other stuff to try and make money so I can quit my job and live the life that I dream of. I pretty much have complete financial freedom and just the time to do pretty much whatever I want whenever I want, be my own boss. You get the idea. If you're young and ambitious like me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Today's video, I am just going to be breaking down my strategy that I am day trading right now. I back tested it a lot and it works. I am up great today. The last couple of weeks have been absolutely great for me. I've been doing just pretty good in the markets in general, so I thought I would take this first video to kind of just go over my strategy in depth. Now, I've been in the trading space for about 2 years. I just want to preface again, I am not making $100,000 a day like you see a lot of these people online making, but I do know a thing or two about trading, and I do think I can share some great insight with you guys that will help you guys. And it's stuff that I've learned from Habibi, Steph, and people that I just think are super reliable within the trading space in general. I've been in the space for probably just over 2 years now, I want to say. I have learned a lot, and I just want to use this platform to obviously build more of a community, get my name out there, and share said knowledge. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. All right, we're here on the chart. First things first, I do not use any indicators except for volume delta, which is what you can see right down here at the bottom, these little green and red candlesticks down here. That's like a separate section from the rest of my chart. I don't really use this as a part of my setup. Like, it's not a rule that delta has to be either green or red in my desired direction of a trade in order for me to take it. It's just kind of there for extra confluence. It's different on different time frames, and sometimes I like it because you can see sometimes you'll have a green candle but the delta will be red, which can kind of sometimes be an indication of sellers stepping up to the market in that given point in time. I have personally found this strategy to be the best on range days. Now, if you don't know what a range day is, it basically is when the market is going kind of up and down, you know, kind of in a little consolidation range area. You know, the definition of range is when price is stuck in between two said points. Say this is the high and this is the low, and price is struggling to break either above the high or below the low. Now, the reason that this strategy works best on these days is because it consists of playing off these levels of supply and demand multiple times throughout the day. The opposite of a range day is what we like to call a trend day. You guys probably hear Habibi reference it a lot in VC every single morning. If we do have trend days, and you know he hates them. Its range day is typically going to look something like this. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe we come up a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. You get the idea. A trend day, which is going to be the opposite of that, is going to look more something like this. Now, this would be a steady uptrend. You know, maybe we come down a little bit, then we come back up. Or sometimes market will even look like that. Literally a straight line up, but you know, that is an uptrend. So this down here is what we like to call a trend day, and then this up here is what we like to call a range day, which is what this strategy is going to work best on. I also found that this strategy works best on smaller time frames. I haven't tested it on larger time frames, but personally I like smaller time frames because the way that I trade and the way that my psychology is, I like to watch the trade the whole time that I'm in it. We kind of went over the trade style. Let's just go straight into the actual rules of the setup. This is today, and now listen, this strategy consists of mainly playing off of supply and demand zones. If you don't know how to find supply and demand zones, I will briefly go over in this video, but I highly recommend you guys go over to Habibi's channel and check out his video on supply and demand zones and kind of how to find them. He has also taught me like one-on-one for a long time how to use this strategy, and I've kind of refined it into my own way over the course of the last couple of weeks. Gone ahead and copied down my rules, which I have in my trade journal in the Discord. But this is the rules for my strategy. So we're going to be on NASDAQ futures. Obviously, we're going to be looking for significant supply and demand zones on the 2-minute time frame, as we went over earlier. Upon a test of said supply or demand zone, we are going to look for a momentum shift in price. Now, a momentum shift means if we are going up, we are going to be looking for price, upwards momentum to slow down, and we're going to look to go short. If we are dumping, we're going to wait till we get a test of a zone for downwards momentum to slow down, and then possibly look to go long, which would be buying. We're gonna wait for a confirmation candle. I'm gonna go over exactly what a confirmation candle is, and the median retest of the confirmation candle I'm going to go over all in a second. 9:30 Eastern, which obviously is market open through 11 a.m. Eastern. Always give myself 2 hours to find a setup. Stop loss to be 1 tick above the high of the candle before confirmation candle. TP set 20 points. Can use 5 minutes for additional confluence, like I mentioned earlier. Now you can go ahead and pause the video, write all this down, but I'm going to just jump directly into exactly what all of this means, because right now that probably just looks like a whole lot of gibberish to you, and that is totally fine. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and go into replay mode to market open on this day, which was Friday the 19th to be exact. So that was last Friday. I only took one trade, ended up 1-1 on the day, and we're going to go over that trade right now. Also, if you don't have TradingView Premium and you are unable to do this, you need this to backtest. You need to have the TradingView subscription, because being able to backtest and kind of replay the bars like this is absolutely essential. It's what I'm doing right now. It's basically when you can go back into time. You can literally be a time traveler, go back into time and test out any strategy you want, test out all its rules, test out different time frames, all this stuff. I'll make another video on how to backtest. We're going to go ahead to 9:30. Market opens right here. We're going to mark this out with this little red line right here. So this is when market opens. This is when we're all, joining up in a VC, saying what's up to each other, starting the, the brain rot stage. Anyway, so from here, market opens. I'm right as soon as market opens, I'm sitting back at my desk looking like a couch potato, man. I'm literally sitting back here. Sometimes I'm on my phone doing my own thing, right? I'm not looking for a trade right as market opens with this strategy. So the first thing I'm going to do is be looking for significant areas of reversal, aka supply and or demand zones. So right now I don't see anything. I don't see anything yet. Right here, if this can make another leg down, I like to mark it out. Boom. I would mark out from the top of this wick to about right here. I like to keep my zones about like around 20 points, because if they're too big, sometimes it kind of screws me over. It's all preference. You guys can really tweak this to your own liking, but this is exactly how I play it. I know even Habibi does it a little differently. Like, I think Habibi would draw his zone from here to down here, if I'm not mistaken. But personally, I would want to see a little bit of a higher retest up to here. For just that whole wick is what I would mark out. I'm gonna see if we can get a test of this. I don't think I did on Friday. I remember waiting so long for a setup and I never got one. Yeah, it looks like we never wanted to come up and go ahead and touch this area. Right here at this point in time, I probably would have marked out this. Let's see right here. Yeah, I probably would have marked out this low, and then we came up, boom, and then you could see we had a close. Now this is where I would look for my very first setup. Okay, boom, setup alert. I was looking for my very first setup here at 10 o'clock. So we had to wait about 30 minutes for setup to present itself in the market. We can see that we tested the zone. Yes, we wicked below it, but we held, and that is a great sign. So pretty much what I'm looking for, after having drawn out this zone right here, I see we come up a little bit and then we come back down to retest it. We can see we're still on the 2-minute time frame. Right here, this candle is the candle that we kind of really test this zone. And what can you see? You can see we have a large bottom wick right here on this candle. Now, what a large bottom wick indicates is that in this 2-minute candle, sellers were strong enough to get price down to here, but then buyers stepped into the market and were strong enough to kind of outwork them to buy price back up to here, and the candle was able to close all the way up here, leaving this wick. When you hear Habibi, myself, or Steph say in VC, oh, that we see like big top wicks or big bottom wicks, that is exactly what we're saying. So this candle right here is already going to, I'm already going to be seeing that candle and be like, all right, I'm really liking longs out of this area. Go boom, another candle close. I'm going to, right here, I'm going to be like, I don't really like that close. Boom, then we get a green close. I'm going to be liking it, and then boom, we get a close above the zone. A close above the zone is ideal, but not 100% necessary. If you really wanted to, you could take an entry off of this candle. I personally wouldn't. I really do ideally like to see a close above the zone, which would be this candle right here. Did just that, close right there, and boom, you can also see, like I mentioned earlier, use delta to kind of give myself some extra confluence in certain scenarios. And then right here, you can see that delta was red, red, red. And then this candle right here, this delta kind of flipped green with a small bottom wick. And then we had, boom, that big green delta right there. So right here, I am looking to take an entry on the close of this candle. Let's refer back to our rules for the one time, because your rules are the only thing that matters when it comes to trading and following them. Never forget that. You can see in our rules that I'm writing wait for a confirmation close in the candle of your desired trade direction. So obviously when we're down this area, like I mentioned a million times, we're looking for longs. Boom, this is going to be considered our confirmation candle, because this is what, quote unquote confirmed the reversal out of our zone. Now, the next step says wait for median retest of confirmation candle to execute entry. You might be wondering, what is the median retest of the candle? Now I'm going to show you exactly how I find this. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but I personally use the Fibonacci retracement tool. You can find that under this little section right here. It's under Fibonacci and it's just called Fib retracement. You can go ahead and put that in your favorites bar. Now also a little trading view hack. If you hold control on your keyboard and you slide your mouse around, you see how my cursor is locking to the high of the candle that I'm kind of hovering over instead of having to like literally find the exact top of it and then mark it out by hand. You can hold control on your keyboard. For Mac, it's probably command, I'd assume. And you're just going to kind of hover over. But anyway, we're going to take a look at our confirmation candle right here. Matter of fact, to make it kind of easier so you guys can't see into the future, I'm going to say boom. We got our confirmation candle right here. I'm going to go ahead and take my Fibonacci retracement tool and I'm going to mark up from the top to the bottom of it, and I am going to extend it out a little bit. Now I have my Fibonacci retracement setting so that I can only see the 0, 1, and half mark of the Fibonacci retracement. When you first open the Fibonacci retracement, you're going to see like 5 different lines here. I only have 3 on mine. You can uncheck every single box except for the 0.5 right here. The 0.5 is going to be the halfway mark, and then all these other values are going to be, you know, their respective values. If you want to put those on there, you can. It's really not necessary for the strategy. Just leave that 0.5, aka the halfway mark. Now this candle closes. We found our median. Now what do we do next? We're going to wait for a retest of 19,888 and 75 to take our entry. I'm going to take my long tool. I'm going to go ahead and set it up here. Now, where do we put our stop loss and take profit when we are about to execute a trade? Obviously, we know our entry is going to be exactly right there at 19,888.75. Let's just double check and make sure that's in the right spot. Perfect, it is. GP is always going to be a set 20 points. So we're going to take this and we're going to set it to 20 points right there. Now, SL is going to be 1 tick above or below the candle high. I should have wrote above the high or low, depending on which side you're taking, before the confirmation candle. Parentheses must be 20 points or less. Obviously, we want it to be 20 points or less because we don't want to be taking a trade that is lower than a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio because, well, that just doesn't really make any sense. Now, right here, you can automatically see exactly why I didn't take this trade. After we've set up our long position tool that possibly execute this entry, you can see that the candle before the confirmation candle is right here. The low of it is right here at 19,852.50, which is going to be a 36.25 stop loss. And as a matter of fact, it's actually going to be 1 tick below that, which is going to be a 36.5 point stop loss, leaving us with a 0.55 risk to reward ratio. You obviously don't want to be taking a 0.55 to 1 risk to reward ratio. So that's going to be no entry there. You ditch it all and you wait for the next setup. Now at this point in time, after I've deleted that, I would also update this zone. I kind of like to keep my zones up to date. So I'd kind of move the bottom of it from right here to like right there, kind of extend it back a little just to give myself a better visual of it. And then I'd be looking again for a retest of this zone. And then also at this point, I probably would have drawn out this high right here, probably like that, just because you can see, you know, we had to move up here, a little bit of consolidation, then boom, that fat dump. So right now I'm looking for either a test of this area right here between 16 and 35, or another test of this low between like 71 and like 53. Okay, so boom, next candle, we have nothing. Boom, next candle, we have something. We tested the zone right here. You can see we just barely wicked into it, and then we closed red out of it. Now this is a perfect setup. We're going to see that we tested our zone and we had a red confirmation candle out of it. Perfect. Now again, we're just going to find the median of the zone. Same thing, take your retracement out of there. Boom, put your tool right there at 906.25, which is going to be right there. We're going to put our SL in this case. Okay, this is another thing. This is actually a great example. We're going to put our TP at 20 points, and we are going to put our SL. Now, remember I said put your SL 1 tick above the candle high of, in this case, the candle high of the previous candle before the confirmation candle. Now, obviously that is this candle. However, you can see that the high of this candle is lower than the high of our confirmation candle. In this scenario, obviously this can happen in both ways, but in this particular situation, we are going to be going short. So in this case, we are not going to be putting our SL right here, which would be 1 tick above the high of the candle before our confirmation candle, but instead we're going to be putting our SL one tick above the high of the confirmation candle, since it is higher than the high of the candle before the confirmation candle. Wow, I think I just said confirmation candle and the word high about 7 times in a span of just like the last 10 seconds. And I'm sorry, that probably sounded like complete gibberish, but I hope you understand what I mean. So right now our SL is going to be 11 points and our target is going to be 20 points as always, and we have a 1.82 to 1 risk to reward ratio. That is what we like to freaking see, chat. I think between 1.5 to 1 and 2 to 1 RR, I absolutely love taking. So at this point in time, now going to hop on over to my trade evade, find what is it, 906.25, set a sell limit order there, and then wait for it to get filled. Let's see what happens next. We don't get filled. Now, I probably would be a little annoyed at this because obviously we just had a 40-point dump after we got our short setup right there, but we didn't get filled. It's unfortunate. We take the L. Well, we didn't really take an L, but you know what I mean, and we move on. Right here, you can even see we came back into this zone from now, so we're going to look for longs now. Let's see what happens. Boom. Okay, let's see if we get a close above. Boom, right here. I can already tell that I wouldn't be taking this because the median of the candle is going to be right here, and that means that our SL is going to be 46 points, which is not, which is obviously bigger than 20 points, which we never want our stop loss to be more than 20 points, so I'm not going to be taking that. And then again, right here, I would update this zone to make the low of it about right there, and then probably lessen it to about right there. Boom, we tested again. I would like to see a blue close out of it, so I probably wouldn't take it long out of this, even though we did reject out of the zone. I'd want to see a green close out of the zone. And you can see we keep dumping. Let's just keep fasting forward. I remember I didn't get a setup until literally down here at 11 o'clock. Almost, I remember this day I made a TikTok. I waited almost 2 hours for my setup, and I got, like, this is what I'm saying. In my TikTok, I literally said I had so many setups that presented themselves, and they all just kept getting invalidated. When I say I had a setup and it got invalidated, that's what I mean. Like the setup was forming, but then after I get that confirmation candle, I set up my position tool, and my stop loss turns out to be 50 points. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's see what happens. Boom, right here, after we get a fat close below this zone, especially like this, I'm just going to completely get rid of this zone in general because we disrespected it. Move this out of the way again for you guys. I have this zone pre-drawn out here. We'll get rid of it so I can show you guys. I'm going to leave that there for when we get to it. Let's just fast forward a bit. So boom, now I'm kind of waiting for a move up. Right here, you could even say that you could be looking for longs because you can consider that a little bit of a move up or retesting it. Can we close blue out of it? No close blue out of it. Close blue out of it. Now, okay, this is another great example. Hopefully you're watching up to this point because there's a lot of small things like this that kind of I didn't explicitly say in the rules when I wrote it, but they do apply to the strategy. Now, this is just a kind of thing that I've learned from, just watching this chart move every day for the last 2 years of my life. Obviously, we explained the wick thing earlier. When you have a wick like this, that's 16 points. I'm not taking that because it means sellers stepped into the market at this point in time, even though I was looking for longs. We also did just reject off this high with that, so I would not be looking to take a long entry at that candle. Even though we did rip up and it would have hit TP if I did, I just simply wouldn't have taken it. This long that I took over here, when we get to it, I would have marked out that right there. So we'll see what happens. We come all the way up. Boom, we have a dump. I also would have marked out this high right here. Okay, boom, we have this massive fall off and we have come back into our zone. So now we're going to be looking for a longer entry. Boom, what do you know? We reject out of it. We actually hold above the zone. So yes, this red candle was huge, but we ended up closing above the zone, which is what I absolutely love to see. Next candle is going to be our confirmation candle where we tested the zone again and then closed green out of it. And you're probably thinking, oh, Mark, but there's a top wick on there. Yeah, it's only 6 points, so I was honestly fine with taking this one, whereas opposed to this one that we just talked about was 15 points, so almost, a little bit less than triple the size of that wick. So I was absolutely fine taking this entry. After the close, I grabbed my retracement tool, found the top and the bottom and the halfway point, set my limit order for buys at 794, which you can see is the median of our confirmation candle. Boom, we get filled right here. We held again, and then so now we're in the trade. Now I have my SL again below 1.1 tick, below the low of the candle before our confirmation candle, which in this case is right here. So that's going to be boom, 11.25 stop loss and 20 points. That's going to bring our risk to reward to 1.78 to 8, which is very good. 1.78 to 1 is a very good RR. 11.25 stop loss. So I'm already thinking if I lose this trade, I'm going to, only be down 11 points on the day. This is the only trade I took on the day. I'm like 11 point SL. I'm totally fine. This is, for me, this is an A+ setup. And it's absolutely what I love to see. And I waited 2 hours for it. Patience pays. Spoiler alert, this play did hit. But we will go ahead and see what happens. So we got filled on this candle. Boom. Next candle. literally moonshots all the way up there and hits our TP, gets bought back down, but I'm pretty sure this thing ended up ripping up anyway. Yeah, it did. And that's it. Boom. You hit your 20 points on the day. It's almost 11th. What time is it now? Yeah. Boom. 11:30. What did it say in our rules? Where did our rules go? Through 11:30 East. We only got one setup on the day. It was a dub. We had to wait until literally 15 minutes before we were planning on to stop trading to actually take the setup, but we did and it paid. And that is pretty much it. Find your zones, wait for the test of them, and play out of them. The absolute hardest part about trading, without a doubt, is being able to follow your rules. I literally have an entire list of rules written out for the strategy, and all you have to do is follow them. The strategy works. I've backtested this over months periods of time, and it works. It's profitable. It has shown me green days. I've lost a trade in the last 4 days. I haven't had a red day in the last 4 trading days. Staying true to my mental, staying true to my rules. Trading is a game of repetition. Trading is a game of finding an edge, knowing exactly where your SL and TP is going to be when you get in a trade, knowing exactly how much you are going to make or lose when you enter a trade. These are the things that are going to progress you as a trader. And obviously, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video, I am nowhere near where I want to be in my trading journey, but I know I will get there one day. If you're still watching at this point in the video, I thank you so much for staying all the way until the end. And I hope you were able to learn a thing or two, whether that be about the strategy or I was just able to kind of pick your mind a little bit. If there is one person out there watching this video that benefited from it, then my job here is done. These guys, my DMs are open on everything. I want you guys to interact with me on TikTok, YouTube comments, DMs on Discord, everything. I want you guys to follow me up on everything. I'm trying to build a community. I'm trying to make a name for myself, like I mentioned earlier. I'm trying to spread love, positivity, knowledge, do as much as I can really to, become the best version of myself and help you guys do the same. We're all on this journey together. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you later.